Right now, air traffic in and around MSP is returning to normal. Here's a live look at flights in the air from flight radar. A much different story from 24 hours ago when an FAA equipment issue brought all traffic in the region to a grinding halt. Thanks for joining us at 5, both on air and streaming. I'm Lauren Levanchak.
And I'm Kevin Holmes. The FAA still isn't sharing exactly what caused the outage, but at this moment, it is not believed to have stemmed from a cyber attack.
Yeah, but experts say the chaos that followed mimicked what one could look like, saying the lessons from this outage should be a wake-up call. Jessica Hart's here with our top story. Jessica?
Yeah, Lauren and Kevin, I talked with a professor at Metro State University, and he says this just shows how dependent we are on interconnectivity and the cascading effect of what happens when it goes down. A disruption in air traffic control exposed a deeper problem that goes beyond delayed flights and long lines.
Because to me, it's a single point of failure.
Faisal Kaleem is the cyber director at Metro State University.
It proved that an adversary does not need to spend, months and months of hacking into dozens of individual airlines, cell phone systems, or cell companies and city halls. If they can just, either physically disable or logically disable one central physical location.
He says the outage appears to be accidental, resulting from a power failure inside the 511 building, also known as the Minnesota Technology Center.
And by the way, this 511 building is what they call the carrier hotel, because it kind of like brings the different type of connectivity into the same building. Imagine if this was a cyber attack, then what actually happened yesterday, just multiply by that 100 or 10 times or whatever. But it effectively simulated a digital act of war.
He says the power failure shows how important this building is and what happens if it goes down. Kaleem says we need to invest in more resilient systems to prevent something like this from happening again.
Then there has to be a mechanism or a failover, mechanism, which is basically that all the traffic should be automatically rerouted to some other, entities in the region.
Kaleem says while government agencies often say they have their own private channels, what happened yesterday shows they still rely on the same network the public uses daily. He says luckily operators there were able to restore the network. I reached out to the FAA today and they said they would not be providing any additional information today on what happened.
All right, Jessica, thank you.